What is considered as a Class 1 insured and a Class 2 insured? Well, first of all, let's look at what is an insured. Under the Mississippi uninsured motorist coverage, an insured is defined as following. The term insured shall mean the name insured, and while resident of the same household, the spouse of any such name insured and relatives of either, while in a motor vehicle or otherwise, and any person who uses with the consent expressed or implied of the name insured the motor vehicle to which the policy applies, and a guest in such motor vehicle to which the policy applies, or the personal representative of any of the above. So that would define what the insured would be. Now, we have a Class 1 and a Class 2 insured. So what happens is, depending on if you're a Class 1, you can stack if on your uninsured motorist coverage. If you're under a Class 2, then you cannot stack. So what we have is persons that are included in Class 1 consist of the name insured and residents of the same household, his spouse and relatives of either, while in a motor vehicle or otherwise. Persons that are considered in Class 2 consist of any person who uses, with the consent expressed or implied, the name insured, the motor vehicle to which the policy applies. So the coverage that's afforded to a Class 1 insured, it extends to all circumstances when a member of the first class is insured by an uninsured motorist. So this is a pretty broad protection of members of Class 1. And so basically it's while in a motor vehicle or otherwise. So if you have 4 vehicles in an uninsured motorist coverage and you're classified as a Class 1 insured, then if you're in a car wreck and the at-fault party does not have insurance or they have limited insurance, then you can always rely back on your uninsured motorist coverage if you're a Class 1. Now, in an instance of a Class 2, if you're injured, then the individual is only covered because he or she is in the covered automobile. So let's say you are an employee and you're in that automobile and you're in a wreck, then you can cover under, if you're considered as a Class 2, then you're only going to be able to recover what's in that Class 2 policy limit. So Class 2's insured basically is as follows when it comes to the uninsured motorist policy. Policies which Class 2 insured purchased for their own vehicles, and policy covering the accident vehicles and any other vehicles under the same policy. So if you're in a Class 2 and you're in that vehicle that you're driving, let's say your employer's vehicle, and you're considered a Class 2, then after you exhaust what's covered in that particular vehicle, then you can fall back on your own personal uninsured motorist coverage. So you cannot go and stack, let's say there's a fleet of 8 vehicles in that employer and you're considered a Class 2, you cannot go and stack those 8 vehicles as a Class 2 insured. So you can only look at what's covered in that particular vehicle, and then you go to your uninsured motorist, and if you have 4 vehicles covered, then you can stack on your 4 vehicles. So it's very important when you're looking at a Class 1 or a Class 2. And so it's very clear distinction, and you've got to understand the stacking part when it comes to being classified as Class 1 or Class 2. So if it is a Class 1 or Class 2, then that's when we have to start looking at, as a personal injury attorney, how are we going to get this case and get it resolved. I'm attorney Jad Khalaf, and if you have any personal injury questions regarding an accident that you've been involved in, you're more than welcome to contact our law firm, Khalaf and Nguyen Law Firm, at 601-688-8888, 601-688-8888, or you can visit us online at www.601attorney.com.